Greetings everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Weekly Challenges Guide. For those of you who are new to this series, or those that may need a bit of a refresher, the weekly challenges are a set of 5 events that go live Thursday night, Friday morning depending on your region. These usually consist of 4 races that are already in game that you may need to be unlocked depending on your progress, while the 5th is a special event that takes place as a special race, time trial, mission challenge, and only available for that week. So, with that out of the way, let's get in and see what we have this week. So we kick things off with the Jimny Cup. This is a 2-lap race around Sardegna Windmills reverse. And of course, you'll need dirt tires and one of the following 2 models of Jimny, the XC or the Sierra JC. And relatively similar power, so it doesn't really matter all that much. You can tune it up as much as you want. I've been using the Sierra JC myself as I found that with what I wanted. So let's go for a lap around here. So we've got to start finish straight. Now because this is a reverse, the jumps are also going to be a bit in reverse order, but thankfully this car is not going to be that quick, so you won't have to worry too much about speed. So we go through 1 and 2, and turns 3 is where you really need to brake. Second gear, and I like to use that to throw the car around quite a bit there. Settings aren't really that specific there. And then out on the throttle there, third, and just really pulling on. And again, I don't really have this tuned all that much. You don't really need it. The AI tend to be pushovers all that much. Now here you keep it flat all the way through 8, and just right there, you get pretty much, you get a good run out of the AI since they will brake pretty early right there. And then here, 3rd gear, quick flick, just for traction and rotating the vehicle around. Preferably you might want a wider arc for that. And then go through this section through 10. And then this big winding right-hander in 11. Now, I usually keep it in 3rd gear because I don't want it to stall out momentum. I'm still trying to use that high end of the power curve. And then through 12, still keeping it in 3rd. And then we're finally going across. And 13 here. And as you can see, not a lot of braking required. You can even upshift here, coming out of 14. And that's a lap around starting the windmill reverse. So, on to the race. So, as for the race itself, the ideal overtaking spots are turns 3 through 5, 8, and 9. I found those to be quite ideal myself. Now you will want to be aware of the AI's frantic braking in full throttle sections. As usual, for some reason they don't really keep it flat. They tend to kind of blip on the brakes quite a bit for whatever reason. So be aware of that if you're going for a clean race bonus. So anyhow, on to the next one, and it's the European Sunday Cup 500. And we stay in Sardinia because it's a 2-lap race at Sardegna Road Track B. So a little off-road and on-road action. So, road car from the following countries. Essentially, it's European, pretty much it's good. You can see all the examples right here. So, let's go in there, and I'm going to use something that I don't really use quite often now I think about it. This Radical SR3. And I've got the appropriate sports cards for it. No setups, just default. So, let's do a lap around here. So, we're on the straightaway of Sardegna Road Track B. And we're going right down to start finish straight right here. Now you're going to be carrying a lot of speed, so you're going to be prepared to brake. And this turn kind of tends to curve a little to the left like this. So brake right there at the 100 mark. For turn 1, don't do what my ghost did there. So, we go through 2. And then through 3, you'll kind of want to hold the throttle a bit and then get on right about there. So then, we go up to 4, brake right as the curve begins. Power right on out. And then we're going to head up here to 5. I want to brake just as that barrier on the left begins. Hold it down the inside, take the curving if you need to, and power right on out as you see that curve there. And here I like to get it close to the wall and look at the fear in its eyes as I do so. Anyway, keep on going through 7. You want to start your braking right there as those barriers on the left come up. They're a little hard to see, but you should be able to. Then accelerate right out of here, going into 9. Downshift a bit for rotation, and accelerate right back out. And then for 11 here, I recommend hanging out the just a little bit and getting back on as you see that black patch on the road comes up. Downshift to 3rd for 12 and 13, and then curve there. Use all the curb right there if you need to, it's fine. So, keep on the power, you've done everything right. And that is a full lap around Sardegna Road Track B. Now, let's get to the race itself and see how we can do. So, as for the race, ideal overtaking spots tend to be, at least in my opinion, 1, 3, 4, and 5, 8, 10, and 11. I found those pretty easy to do. Beware the AI's braking in turns 2, 9 through 11, as well as 12 and 13. Again, they don't tend to be flat throttle, and they tend to brake hard, so be aware if you're going for a clean race bonus. Once again, that'll definitely take you right out of the running, if you're not watching. So next, Ferrari Circuit Challenge. It's a 6-lap race at Deep Forest Raceway. And of course, 700 performance points or less, and it's a Ferrari. So we continue the Italian theme, but in car form this time around. And I'm going to pull out my trusty Ferrari 296 challenge build here. Setup I'm still kind of working on, so nothing for now, but maybe at a later time. Anyhow, on racing cards, and let's do a lap around here. So, carrying a lot of speed here at Deep Forest. The brake just as that curve comes up. Second gear, hold it to the inside there, and then gradually go on the power out to this curve here. Now you've got these little S sections here through 2, right 3. I tend to hold 4th gear through both of these sections until I get right here 5. Second gear, carefully accelerate out, then back to 2nd, and kind of get that wheel right below that white line there, and accelerate just as soon as I see that green part there, and even put the wheels there for stability. Brake through here, through 9, carefully accelerate right on out, and then 2nd or 10, you do it just as that gray pops up. And then accelerate with that curve through the tunnel. You're going to be carrying a lot of speed, especially with this car's hybrid power. So, it'd really be best if you had on some racing brakes like I have. Even not for race brakes, for stopping power. Brake at the 150 board, really hard there. First gear, if you want some more rotation, I recommend. And then gently power right on out. So going through 15, 16, and then through 17 and 18. Here you're going to make up a lot of spots because the AI are going to be quite slow. And that is a lap around Deep Forest Raceway. Now, on to the race. So for here, the ideal spots for overtaking, turns 1, 5, 7, 10, 14, and 17 through 18. Very ideal spots in my opinion. But you also want to be aware of the AI braking in turns 7 through 9 and 17, especially 17, because as much as you can get some passes done, you could also have your clean race bonus knocked out, so be careful. Next, Porsche Cup. This is a 5-lap race at Autodromo Lago Maggiore full course, so we're back to the Italian theme for tracks. 650 performance points or less in a Porsche. So you can see all the examples here. And the car I'm going to choose for this is the 911 GT397 here, my original Cup car build that I've done. And there's a beginning setup if you guys want to use that. Anyhow, let's do a lap around here. So, coming right out of the final corner, onto the front straightaway here. And there's going to be a lot of tricky sections to get for braking and returning the car. So return 1, second gear, hold the car right on in, and turn 2. You want to hold right about there to that yellow portion of the curb. So gradually onto the power, over the curb to the left here. And then Now, the second right here for 4. And we come right on out of there, full acceleration. And we're going to go up to one of the trickier corners to try to get right. And you want to start braking right about as that barrier on the right comes up. Get that down to second gear. Aim the car right near that curb and then start accelerating here. You want to turn the car this direction. And then for 6, you want to brake right about just as after the curb goes up in third. Use as much of these curbs as possible. This will help turn the car quite a bit through these sections here, especially through this last part in 9 and 10. Get a good exit out of there. Now, this is where we're going to really be careful, because if you just flat foot this out without a slight lift, look at that, catches in. So brake right before that marker, 50 marker, turn in, accelerate through this section right here, when you get to 12 and 13. You can kind of work out with there, but I recommend you kind of lift depending on your tuning to get through this section here. And then we get to turn 14, which you want to bring right there at the 50 mark. Carry the momentum right into the corner there. And then go right into the accelerate. And right down, I want you to do 16. Downshift to second gear for 17. Get right on that curve there and accelerate right on out, full power, onto the front straightaway. And that is a lap on late Maggiore. So good. Now, on to the race itself. So, in the race itself, ideal spots are turned 1, 4, 9, and 10, 11, 13, 15, and 17. So ideal spots where we're taking. Beware of the AI braking in turns 6 through 8. I tend to brake quite a bit there. And be mindful of that downhill going into turn 11, as it will lift the car up. So I recommend a slight lift there so you can keep the car on the ground and prevent that from happening. And the special race, the F3500 one make. This is an 18 lap race with 2 times fuel use and 8 times tire wear at the Red Bull Ring. And all the cars you could use are the F3500B and the F3500A. So you could use these in any tune, any engine swap, any parts, so you can make use of the full catalog. The AI certainly will. So I'm going to use mine here, decked out in the Benetton colors there from 1992. So continue the Italian theme, it seems. And I'm going to switch to medium tires for optimal race strategy. And here's a lap around here. So, very tricky to navigate around in this Euro Formula 1 car. Downshift to second through Niki Lauda curb. And this is why you want to avoid that inside curve there, because the power on these is very abrupt. And anything like that is going to absolutely sting the bag fishtailing. So you want to brake downshift to third, and it's first I should say, for rotation into Remus. Power out carefully, make sure the car is as straight as possible with the accelerator. That's going to be a theme for this track very much in these corners. So brake right about there, the 100 mark, second gear, going through Schleichsburg. And then you want to set yourself up to the right here. Brake right about there, second gear for Roche. Carefully power out, use these curves here. Brake just at that curve ends. Through Worth curve, and again, use those curves there. The car still has downforce, so just use that. So we continue to accelerate right here. And we'll brake the fourth gear through right, use that curve again, and then brake right about here as you exit the Red Bull Mobile, and you have done a lap around the Red Bull. And now, on to the race. So for this one, racing mediums, as usual, are the optimal tire for this, as the hards take too long to warm up and the softs tend to burn too fast. One stop is an option, but for this, a no stop would actually be preferred if you can hang on until the end of the race. Trust me, it's worth it. Avoid the inside curve at Niki Lauda curve. Again, that will upset the car very easily if you hit that just right. And be patient and precise with the throttle. That is the overall theme for this race here. You do that and you'll be fine, pretty much. So that is it for this week's video. Hope you guys have enjoyed that, whether you have just logged into these challenges or whether you've logged in quite some time. If you like this, then be sure to give it a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll be notified when these go up Fridays at 1 p.m. So until then, I will see you guys in the next video.